Hello, it is Topical Tuesday, August 17th, 2021. Steve Sipress here, and a picture-perfect, beautiful evening here in usually way too hot and way too sunny southern Arizona. Overcast day here in an extremely active monsoon season where it has rained pretty much every single day. For the past couple of weeks, we've gotten more rain in the past couple of weeks than I think the past couple of years. And it's, I think, not even 100 degrees, which is extremely strange for August here. Fear. It's everywhere. Everyone is spouting fear. Everyone's afraid of something. I talk about it often. Fear is the most powerful motivator. Take a hint. I mean, maybe you are afraid that if we don't do something if the government doesn't do something about climate change, then the world as we know it is going to cease to exist in the near future. If we don't stop using all of fossil fuels, we're going to destroy the planet. Or maybe you fear that government is going to take your tax dollars and misspend them to all their crony friends and special interests in the name of phony, fake climate change to waste billions of dollars and put you and your children and grandchildren into massive debt that they'll never get out of. Maybe you are afraid that some unmasked anti-vaxxer is going to give you the coronavirus, even though you've been double vaccinated and you walk around wearing two masks, even when you're driving alone in your car, and you stay 10 feet away from everybody. Or maybe you're afraid that the government is going to make your kids wear masks in school, even though the science says that's a totally, not only is a dumb, useless thing, that it's worse than useless, it's extremely dangerous and really awful for your kids. Or maybe you feel that the government or companies are going to make you show proof of vaccination just to do anything, go anywhere, enjoy anything, freedoms that you thought you had, you no longer had. You're afraid that freedoms are going away. In fact, you're afraid that the country here in the U.S. and lots of places around the world are going towards socialism and communism and Marxism. I think the number one best-selling book here in the United States is something about Marxism is coming. Communism is on its way. Like maybe you're afraid that, hey, all our freedoms are being taken away. Or maybe you're afraid that people who love freedom are anti-government are going to violently have another insurrection to overthrow the government. I'm afraid that these right-wing white supremacists are going to cause all kinds of problems. Or maybe you're afraid that left-wing not only supremacists, but left-wing wackos, Antifa and BLM are going to do what they did last summer and come around and start looting and rioting and burning down businesses and even approaching some homes. And if you stand out on your lawn with a gun to defend yourself, you're going to get arrested. Maybe you're afraid of that. Maybe you're afraid that the economy is never going to come back the way it was. And you run a business and you're having trouble hiring people and nobody wants to work, and you're afraid the government is going to continue to give out more welfare and more eviction moratorium and more extra unemployment benefits, and they're going to make it impossible for you to run your business, or they're going to continue with the mandates and stop people from coming into your business because you have to be the vaccination or the mask police, and people are just going to stop coming. Or maybe you're afraid that you can't go out to eat, or you can't go to a restaurant or go to a concert or ball game because you're afraid that anti-vax, anti-max, maskers, whatever, are going to infect you and there's going to be a super spreader event and you're afraid of that. On and on and on. Do you get the point? Everyone's afraid of something. Oh, now with the fall of Afghanistan, maybe you're afraid that the terrorists who have taken over, now terrorism's going to come to your country, like here in the U.S. 9/11 is just, 3 weeks away or so. We've already had an attack on 9/11/2001, another attack on one of our foreign embassies on 9/11/2011, I think it was. Well, that was the 10th anniversary. Now it's going to be the 20th anniversary. Just wait to see what the newly empowered terrorists from Afghanistan are going to do somewhere on 9/11 of this year? Are you afraid of that? Or maybe you're afraid that the government is going to, here in the U.S., the Congress is going to filibuster every good thing and every good bill that does so much good for the world and for people and gets us progressively going where we want to be and moves the country forward, is going to be stalemated and stagnated in the Congress by the filibuster rule. Or maybe you're afraid that the progressives are going to get rid of the filibuster rule, and then they're going to put into place every damaging communist, socialist, Marxist, anti-American piece of legislation. Do you see where I'm getting at? Everyone on both sides, you're being fed a ton of fear by politicians, by the media, and by big tech, by big corporations in general. Like, it's everywhere. I was taught, brought up to, love thy neighbor. For the past year and a half, we've been taught to fear thy neighbor. Don't get within 10 feet of your neighbor. Stay in your house. And if it's someone's birthday, just kind of drive by and honk the horn. Like, don't go anywhere near your neighbor. They might kill you. Not meaning to kill you, but you might die from just being around people. Because who knows who's, are you afraid that people are going to make up, are you afraid that all these people coming across the southern border here in the U.S., that there are criminals in there, and crime is going to run rampant all over the place, and then they're going to be given amnesty and allowed to vote, and they're going to sway all the elections and make it impossible for patriotic Americans to ever be in power again. All the progressive, anti-American hating liberals are going to take over and continue to have all the power that there is because they're allowing all these people and criminals and drugs to come across the southern border? Or are you afraid that a right-winger gets back into office and finishes off building the wall and then doesn't let these deserving, needy refugees in, and they are just going to be persecuted and die of hunger and starvation and crime in whatever country they're in, and the U.S. should be a great magnanimous country and take care of these people. Again, I could just go on and on, but just about every issue there is fear on both sides. You are likely I don't say a victim, but you are susceptible. You've been fed, and you are acting out of fear of either one thing or the other. I mean, the pro-government people that love big government, they claim to love big government, but then, they don't like the police. They're government workers, and every 4 or 8 years, they don't like whoever's in charge in the Senate. We don't like Mitch McConnell. We don't like Donald Trump. We don't like George Bush. We don't like Mitt Romney. We don't like John McCain. Well, they like the Mitt Romney he became now, the anti-Trumper. But, the pro-government people claim to be pro-government, but then on the other hand, they actually can't stand Ted Cruz, can't stand Ron DeSantis, can't stand Trump. We don't like the cops. They're all government. That's all the government. I thought you loved the government. And then the people that can't stand the government, well, then that's why we like Donald Trump, because he's not the swamp. He's not the typical government. Yeah, but he was government. Like, he was signing executive orders that had no legislative, input. There's no, the bigger government gets, the less it represents the people, of course. So, but anyway, I think you get what I'm saying. So what's the business lesson here? Because that's the point. The business lesson is, do you get it yet? Are you using fear in your marketing? Now, I don't mean fear like anything I just talked about politics or in general, or I'm afraid that the Olympics is ruined forever because people kneel for the national anthem, or I'm afraid that, of things like the Olympics still exist with all the nationalism and the flag waving and the countries against countries and all that stuff that's just bad. Like, whichever it is, there's fear on both sides. So are you using fear in your marketing that is specific, relevant to your product or service, to your business? Are you just touting the great things your product or service does? Or are you twisting the knife a little bit into the fear? So are you saying to people, hey, you ought to bring your car in for an oil change 4 times a year, and we're the place to do it. We have a great oil change and a great staff. We can take care of your car. We've won awards. We're your trusted neighborhood, locally owned auto repair shop, blah, blah, positive, 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 positive. Or are you putting some fear into your marketing? Like, hey, do you have any kids? Does your wife ever drive the car at night alone? What if the car broke down in a bad neighborhood or in the middle of the highway or somewhere in a strange place? What if there was something went wrong with the car while you're driving full speed with your kids in the back seat on the highway? Like, have you checked your brakes? Have you checked your tires? Like, a little bit of fear. You can put it into every single message. You don't want to overdo it, like this stuff I just talked about with the, U.S. is turning communist. All the people coming across the southern border. There's been 1 million people across the southern border. Last I checked, there's 330 million people in the country. So that's 1/3 of 1%. 99.7% of the country has not crossed the border illegally this year. Like 99.7. It's about the survival rate of the coronavirus. Nothing to be afraid of, unless you choose to be afraid of it. Yeah, but Steve, then they're going to be chain migration, and they're going to bring all their families in, and they're busing them and plane riding them out to the red states to turn them blue, or the blue states to turn them red, whatever the hell the thing is. Like, I'll tell you what I see, by the way, off the topic, but what I see is, hey, 1 million people came across the border here. Pretty sure we got to build some more schools. We got to build some more businesses. We got to build some more housing. Like, what an opportunity for business owners, for people in construction to build all that stuff, and for people to put up sell stuff, all the stores that got to sell them food and clothes and whatever. Even if they're getting it from getting government funds for it, they still got to buy food from someone. That's 1 million more people buying food. That's great. It's 1 million more people buying clothes, 1 million more people doing whatever. Like, it's a big boost. Like, see, you can look at anything positively. You can look at it out of fear and negativity. Do the same with your marketing. Prove me wrong that fear is the most powerful motivator of human beings, much more powerful than the positivity. So you can keep putting out your messages about how nice you are and good you are and how long you've been around and what you do and how great it is. But man, if you're not putting some fear into there, you are missing out big time. You're definitely a victim of it, or a target of it, or you are a walking, living, example of the power of fear. You fear one way or the other. You have these fears that things are going to happen that aren't good. Somehow your prospects aren't susceptible to that kind of messaging. Anyway, think you get the point. That's it for Topical Tuesday. That was pretty much a lot of topics, a lot of things in the news that, again, you can be on either side of, but both of them filled with fear from big, powerful entities, people, businesses, governments. Not only do you use some fear in your marketing and your messaging, but you might want to take a deep breath and stop being bothered by all the fear mongering and let it all slide off your back and not pay attention to it, because it's all BS, both sides. U.S. is not turning communist, and U.S. is not killing, there's not crime, rampant crime in the streets and all the cities. Yeah, crime is up. But I don't know, they give numbers like, 1,000 people murdered this year in Chicago. 1,000 out of 8 million people. The Chicagoland area, 1,000 died. Yeah, that could be up from 800. Well, it's way up. 25%, 100% up. Went to 2,000. 2,000 out of 8 million. Do the math, folks. Okay? Stop succumbing to the fear, but definitely use it in your marketing, because others will succumb to it. They are not as strong as I'm hoping that you are. And that'll do it for Topical Tuesday. Catch you tomorrow on World Wide Web Wednesday. Over and out. Bye-bye.